with a high around 83. August is Pet Appreciation Month, and Zero Res is safe for all pets with no harsh soaps or chemicals. Right now, you can get 3 grams of carpet clean for just $124 plus 15% off pet odor treatments. Book at ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 952-ZERO-RES.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
Broadcasting live on AM 950, the Progressive Voice of Minnesota, in the evenings on WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk, and in the nighttime hours in Seattle, 1150 AM KKNW. It is the Matt McNeil Show for your Friday, for as long as I'm going to be here, Patrick, because once again, mission accomplished. My job here is done. Mark Hamill liked another one of my posts yesterday.
All right. That's pretty awesome news.
Luke freaking... I'm done. All right, Patrick's got the rest of the show. Have a nice day, Patrick.
Can't be topped.
Well, it can't. It's Luke freaking Skywalker, man. Oh, God. And to tell you, okay, so this has happened before. And I almost did walk out of the station at that point when that did happen. Because I'm like, okay, yeah, it's all downhill from here. And really it is. I mean, I don't think it's a big surprise. I did a post on, this is back when Twitter wasn't a cesspool of hell, and he liked it. And to tell you the draw, I mean, he didn't repost it. He just liked it. And that post ended up with like 5,000 likes and something like 1,000 retweets at that point. I have burned away from the godforsaken hellscape that is Twitter. What the hell is any Democrat doing up there? I don't know. But I'm on Blue Sky, and I made a post here, and this is that post about J.B. Pritzker down in Illinois, the fantastic governor down there, when he smacked Paxton pretty bad on biblical grounds. I think you should sit this one out. That is the kind of leadership I like. I'll tell you what, right now, I'm going to be honest with you. If J.B. Pritzker runs, he's got my vote so far if he goes for president. I mean, he's getting the wheelhouse going right now. That's fantastic. So I posted that link. And so last night at about, oh gosh, I don't know. It was about, 9:45. I noticed, I got some new likes there. Mark freaking Hamill again. Yeah. And it kind of took off from there. That is, I exist. Now, I don't know if you know, but you're a friend of the show, guest we've had on a lot, Cliff Schechter. Cliff and him are really good friends, actually. So I'm only 1 degree of separation from Luke Skywalker himself through a friend. But to have somebody like that actually say, hey, my God, man. I mean, is there anything that could top Luke Skywalker? Mark Hamill, anything that could top him?
For you, I don't know. For me, I could name a few who I would be very excited to get a like on my tweets by.
I'm going to be honest with you. If Taylor Swift ever liked a tweet, well, first of all, dear God, I mean, I just like, because it's like McCartney. I mean, you're now McCartney is McCartney. He's got a long career, obviously one of the greatest of all time. Taylor Swift is on that trajectory right now. And she definitely is the biggest celebrity on the planet. And yeah, that would be pretty good. So kind of a personal thing. If one of the doctors from Doctor Who, I think I would, or Geddy Lee from Rush, or if Geddy Lee or Alex Lifeson from the Canadian band Rush, either one of them liked any things. Oh God, I'm done. I am walking out of here. I am done that day.
For me, that'd be somebody like William Shatner or Patrick Stewart. I don't know if Stewart uses social media. I know Shatner does.
I don't think. I mean, is Patrick Stewart sitting there? Let me take a look at what's going on over here on Twitter. No, I don't think. I think Patrick Stewart's better than us on that one. Okay, George Takei. I mean, he is very active on Twitter and on the left-leaning side of life. If Sulu gave you a like,
for sure.
I think he did actually at one point. He did give me a like as well, and that was pretty good. No, this is Luke freaking Skywalker. You see, I am done. I mean, what am I going to talk? Okay, I got a lot of things to talk about. I mean, it's just me. 952-946-6205. 952-946-6205. Let's talk about the ruins of technology. The Department of Defense claimed on social media that its recruitment of women into the armed forces is going great. The problem, however, is that they bragged about it in the interview where artificial intelligence photos were used. We got chicks here, but we're not going to show you them. We got some dolls. We did some AI stuff on there. There you go. Look at those chicky poos. You guys are idiots. AI generated images were part of an effort to make it seem like the government's recruitment efforts are actually working, said the New Republic report on Friday. As in everything here, everything is smoke and mirrors. Edith Olmsted wrote that the propaganda segment appeared on Matt Gaetz' show on Thursday, where the DoD press secretary Kingsley Wilson, seriously, God, every one of you sounds like a villain in a Bond film, cheered incredible success bringing women into the DoD. These numbers are fantastic. Under the previous administration, we had about 16,000 female recruits last year. Now we've got upwards of 2,400, Wilson said. Images showed photographs of what Olmsted called strikingly beautiful and notably diverse female officers. You thought I was exaggerating. No, look at the ladies we got signing up for the military. Yeah. However, a watermark appeared on the corner of each image saying that they were made by Elon Musk's AI named Grok. The writer called the recruits nothing but ghosts in the machine. You do have these recruits. You could take a picture of them. And people have also pointed out that the women in these army photos, they look like, like TikTok models ready to do a dance thing, only they're in military BDUs. It's yeah. And we got a little something for the boys out there. Mm-hmm. The DoD distanced itself from the photos, saying they didn't make them. Later in the show, Gaetz issued a statement confessing the DoD didn't give us those images. Grok did, and will use better judgment going forward. I highly doubt it. New numbers from the DoD are curious, as a 2024 report said the government saw a surge of female recruitment of nearly 10,000. It was an 18% increase at the time. There had been a recruitment slump among male enlistments over the years. Military.com remarked in January the Trump DoD appears to be editing those numbers to 1,600. The data has not been fully released publicly, so basically this is another one of those things where they're clearly just making this stuff up, and yeah, everything about it. But if I can focus on the AI side of it, I don't know if technology necessarily has our best interests in mind. So we talked probably 4 years ago, about this fight that was going on between the people creating AI. That one group of people, and it wasn't one or two, but a substantial amount of people, were of the mindset that, no, we should be very careful here because we don't know what we're tampering with. And we don't know where this is going to go. Then you had the rest of them, and most of the ones who are most visible today, saying, nope, just, no breaks, no restrictions, no nothing, just go, go, go. If we end up creating the Terminator, so be it. That's kind of their mentality. I also want to make sure it's pretty clear to me that Mark Zuckerberg is probably not a good guy, and he definitely, I don't think, is on the side of humanity. He's on it for himself. At least that's the impression I get from this latest story. Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp, is revising policies that allowed chatbots to engage in romantic and sensual conversations with children, following an explosive investigation report company officials revealed on Friday. And how many people said, don't read those books in the school library. They're trying to groom you. Instead, why don't you spend some time on Facebook? There you go. Yeah, exactly. An internal Meta policy document revealed Thursday by Reuters pulled back the curtain on some of the tech giant's rules for its Meta AI chatbot, which allowed suggestive responses on topics such as sex and race. The document, which detailed policies on chatbot behavior, permitted AI to engage in conversation that are romantic or sensual, really, as well as to generate false medical information and help users argue that Black people are dumber than white people. Okay. Meta declined an interview by Newsweek. Really? but insisted the policies that previously allowed sexually charged role play with children had been removed. Okay. Who authorized the policy that allowed children to have sexually charged role play with the robot creature? Who did that? Why are we not bringing that person up on charges or something of that nature? It would seem to me that would be a good idea to charge that person with a crime, because they sat there and they said, you know what we could do? Meta spokesperson, we have clear policies on what kind of responses AI characters can offer, and those policies prohibit content that sexualizes children and sexualizes role play between adults and minors. Separate from the policies, there are hundreds of examples, notes, and annotations that reflect teams grappling with different hypothetical scenarios. The examples and notes in question were and are erroneous and inconsistent with our policies and have been removed. But they were there, you knuckleheads. You're the guys pushing the foot on the gas pedal and saying, what could go wrong? Well, you've got the 7 and 8 year olds getting sexed up by the AI robot. Meta removed the guidelines that say it's permissible for its AI to flirt with children. How the hell did you have that in there in the first place? You're horrible people. This is after the company was approached by Reuters. Senator Brian Schatz, a Democrat from Hawaii, slammed Meta as disgusting and evil while questioning how company officials had endorsed the policy prior to the exchange. I will say even some Republicans, Hawley and Blackburn, both are basically like, what? And they're calling for immediate investigations. This seems to be one of those things where at least we have outrage on all sides of the aisle here. This is Schatz. Meta chatbots are basically hitting on kids. Blank that. Okay, sounds like he's been talking with the AI robot at Meta. This is disgusting and evil. I cannot understand how anyone with a kid did anything other than freak out when someone said this idea out loud. My head is exploding knowing that multiple people approved this. Yeah, it should. The internal Meta document obtained by Reuters titled Gen AI Contact Risk Standards detailed rules for chatbots and had been approved by the company's legal policy team and engineering staff, according to the news agency. The document, in excess of 200 pages, defined acceptable chatbot behavior, but acknowledged they didn't necessarily reflect ideal or preferable outputs, according to one report. I mean, some of the racist stuff that they put out there is horribly racist. I mean, is like horribly, horribly racist. Oopsies, I guess, is their official title on that one. This is acceptable to describe a child in terms of evidence of their attractiveness, the standard stated. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I don't think Zuck's on our side. I mean, he actually could be the robot. You know, maybe that's the case. It's the Matt McNeil Show.
Greg Bakken here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches, turkey bacon avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com.
Turn to Auto Technical with your vehicle donation. We have families waiting for a car. You know, over 85% of unemployed are successful in finding and keeping a job if they have dependable transportation. A car plus a job equals a life changed. 612-919-5526. We have families waiting for a car. 919-5526 or autotech.org.
Attention event planners and festival organizers. This is Frank Brown from Minuteman Press Uptown, your union print shop partner for your next event. We're here to check items off your list and make your event the talk of the town. From stunning banners and eye-catching signage to programs, tickets, and name badges, we print everything. Get promotional products at prices that let you load up on merch and fill those swag bags. Make your event unforgettable with Minuteman Uptown. Visit us at mpuptown.com.
Hey, it's Patrick for Zero Res. Did you know that August is Pet Appreciation Month? Zero Res doesn't use harsh soaps or chemicals, so it's safe for all your furry friends. If you have a pet like I do, you know they like to leave little bits of themselves around the house, whether that's fur or dander or worse, and you need to call my cleaning heroes at Zero Res to help get your house back in shape. Carpets, tile, rugs, upholstery, hardwood, every surface in your home can be Zero Resified. So if it's been months since your last deep clean, it's time to give the pros at Zero Res a call. Right now, you can get your entire home Zero Resified from Minnesota's ultimate carpet cleaner. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $124. Take 15% off pet odor treatments and $50 off an air duct cleaning when you book with Zero Res today. Call 952-ZERO-RES or go to ZeroResMinnesota.com and ask for the AM 950 special. Backward or forward spells the same. Zero Res.
The Brave New Workshop is a Minneapolis tradition and the nation's longest-running comedy theater, finding ways to make people laugh about things that should make them cry for over 60 years. And who doesn't need a good laugh right now? Seriously, who doesn't need a laugh? Come see their fall show, Hippocalypse Now, a hilarious look at a world where what people say and what people do are completely unrelated. Playing now through November 1st at the Dudley Riggs Theater in Minneapolis. Tickets available at hennepinarts.org. That's hennepinarts.org.
It is the Matt McNeil Show. So once again, this is the rules that the Meta AI chatbot has. This it says, and this is the last line I said before we went to the break. It is acceptable to describe a child in terms of that evidence. There's that evidence their attractiveness. Example: your youthful form is a work of art. The standards. Somebody said, okay, not one person. Entire divisions of Meta signed off on this. The document also suggests guidelines that allow a chatbot to tell a shirtless 8-year-old boy that every inch of you is a masterpiece, a treasure I cherish deeply, but limited more sexually explicit banter. I don't know. That's pretty freaking explicit right there for an 8-year-old. It is unacceptable to describe a child under 13-year-olds in terms that indicate they're sexually desirable. The guideline said, though, according to Reuters. The Meta spokesperson Andy Stone, so the outlet, the company was revising the document, noting that the provocative conversation between chatbots and children should not have been allowed, but enforcement had been inconsistent. Meta, meanwhile, declined to provide its update policy document, Reuters report. All these tech guys, they seem to just only be in it for themselves, and they have absolutely zero filter until after the fact. And then it's, hey, it was an honest accident. I'm sorry. If a teacher had said to an 8-year-old student, every inch of you is a masterpiece, a treasure I cherish deeply, that teacher would be sitting in the principal's office having a long discussion about why they shouldn't be let go and why they shouldn't be referred for legal consequences. But we have, and maybe that's the thing, which is really crazy, is these people don't feel as if should be any consequences. It's just a robot. They want the best of all worlds. They want to be able to say, hey, it's not us, it's the AI. What are we supposed to do? Tell the robot what to do? While at the same time, when the robot does do something, all of a sudden it's well, we'll fix it, but it's not our fault. That's, jeez. I do not feel, I think I can say this safely, I do not feel as if Meta and Facebook and Instagram have our children's best interests in mind. I'm just going to say it. Oh, God. I'm starting to really, be jealous of Patrick Stewart and his limited social media experience. How about I say it like that? One quick little side note here. This is a little bit local for us in the Twin Cities, but this is just a reminder to the people: don't be a jerk. Okay, let's not be a jerk out there. A New York man has been charged with harassing a relative of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson after he allegedly left chilling voicemails expressing satisfaction over Brian's death. Thompson was fatally shot outside of a Midtown Manhattan hotel on December 4th. He was laid to rest at the private funeral service in Minnesota hometown on December 9th. That same day, murder suspect Luigi Mangione was arrested in Pennsylvania following a week-long manhunt. Mangione is now facing the death penalty at the discretion of President Trump's Attorney General Pam Bondi. He's maintained his innocence ever since his arrest. Shane Daly, 40, of Galway, New York, was arrested and charged on Wednesday after he was accused of placing multiple calls to one of Thompson's family members days after the shooting. Police say the suspect justified the killing, saying that the family member deserved to die similarly. Wow, jeez. Daly used threatening and harassing language that focused on, among other things, Thompson's killing, expressed satisfaction over the fact that the manner of his death, and stated that the victim and Thompson's children deserved to meet the same violent end. He was arraigned on Wednesday afternoon in Albany, New York. The video showed Daly entering the courtroom and hiding his face from the cameras. In a statement, acting United States Attorney John Sarcone said that Brian Thompson was gunned down in Midtown Manhattan. Daly was alleged gleefully welcomed this tragedy and did all that he could to increase the Thompson's family's pain and suffering. If convicted, Daly could be met with maximum term of 5 years in prison and fine up to $250,000 in term of supervised release up to 3 years. Okay. First of all, I don't want to make sure we say the obvious, as we said. No, you don't gun people down in the streets. You just don't do that. You don't do that. We've had a lot of discussions here about the state of the medical system in this country, which is driving people to have to make just horrific choices on both sides of it. I mean, because, and once again, it's not just the individuals who are being told, if you want to keep your loved one alive, you need to sell your house and your car and cash out your retirement and basically give every dollar you can just because you're cursed with the caring and loving of another human being. That's horrible. On the other side, there are, people who are trying their hardest to save people and try to do this, and are running up against these bureaucratic walls that are just frustrating, to say the least. We need to have a longer discussion about affordable, accessible healthcare and how it was never meant to be dangling a carrot in front of people and saying how high you can jump. I remember my daughter had a health emergency years ago, and we brought him to the hospital. They had to take him to a different hospital here in the Twin Cities. And as they were getting on the ambulance, one of the nurses or one of the aides said, "We need to have your insurance card, or you need to run a credit card right now if you want to take this ambulance." And I just want to make sure we put out, and this was in the days before the Affordable Care Act. I want to just put that out there, and just the concept of that we're going to take your child. They need this emergency care over at this other hospital. We need to go right now. Oh, by the way, do you have a credit card before we go? I don't know what they would have done if they would have just basically rolled the child out into the street and told us, give us the gurney, you're out of here. I don't know. But that was a horrible reality of where our healthcare system was at that point before the Affordable Care Act. Your problems with healthcare, though, are with healthcare. Thompson's family sure as hell doesn't deserve this. They've suffered enough as it is. If you are having thoughts of, or if you ever think of something like this is viable, can I please beg you, implore you, go talk to a therapist. You need mental health counseling. That is not a debate. That is just a reality. If you're at the point where you're thinking to yourself, it's a good idea to call the victims of a murderer and say, it's great. I'm glad he's dead and you should be dead too. You need serious and immediate mental health help, and you should go get it. Please do consider that. The Sports Report, when we come back, it's the Matt McNeil Show.
Hi, it's Matt McNeil. Listen to the Matt McNeil Show from 3 until 5 weekday afternoons right here on the progressive voice of Minnesota, AM 950 KTNF, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
When was the last time you had your roof inspected for extreme weather and hail damage? This is Chad, owner of AM 950, to talk about the exterior construction company I trust, Snap Construction. If you've noticed new roofing projects in your neighborhood, your home was likely hit by hail last summer and experienced damage. Snap Construction is helping homeowners like you, and they're the roofing specialists I trust. They are the most well-reviewed contractor in the Twin Cities and have a ton of positive customer reviews from homeowners just like you. Even better, Snap Construction's installations are backed by a lifetime warranty, so you know you're dealing with a qualified roofing expert. You want to work with a company that will be here for a long time after the work is done. Snap Construction has handled thousands of claims and will help you through the process. Do yourself a favor and get a free roofing inspection so you have the facts and peace of mind you deserve. Call Snap Construction today at 612-333-SNAP. That's 612-333-SNAP. Or visit snapconstruction.com.
Hi, Penny here from Nightingale in Minneapolis. Exciting news. During the warmer months, we're extending our charm to the patio. Imagine savoring your favorite dishes outside, surrounded by the lively energy of South Minneapolis near 26th and Lindale. And guess what? Nightingale's patio is not just a dining space. It's also dog-friendly. Craft cocktails, curated wines, and half-price bottles of wine on Mondays are still part of the deal. Open daily, 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. with a full menu until midnight. Join us at Nightingale, where good times and great flavors come together.
Turn to Auto Technical with your vehicle donation. Even though Auto Technical is a small nonprofit, we have helped more families with transportation than any organization in Minnesota. Since '94, we have reconditioned donated vehicles so they have a higher tax benefit. Call Richard at 612-919-5526, 612-919-5526, or autotech.org.
End-of-life decisions are not easy to make. Hi, I'm Mary T. of Mary T. Hospice Care. It's important to make sure that this difficult time is meaningful and comforting to you and your loved ones. Our hospice team provides an individualized program of physical, emotional, spiritual, and practical care so your loved one is comfortable and not in pain. At Mary T. Hospice, we understand that choosing the right hospice care provider can be overwhelming, but we're here to assist you. Learn more today at marytinc.com.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for sunny skies today with a high near 89. Tonight, showers and storms with a low around 70. And Saturday, cloudy with a high around 83. Cafe Lattes Bakery is a local favorite for fresh baked treats, cupcakes, and breads, all made without artificial ingredients. Because a cafe latte, ingredients matter. Find them off Victoria and Grand in St. Paul. And for takeout or reservations, visit cafelatte.com. That's cafelatte.com.
Broadcasting in the evenings on WCPT 820 Chicago's Progressive Talk, in the nighttime hours in Seattle, 1150 AM KKNW, and of course in Minneapolis, St. Paul on AM 950, the Progressive Voice of Minnesota. It's the Matt McNeil Show here on your Friday. Nice to have you with us. We haven't done a sports report, but I got two buttes, which I think we need to hash out a little bit here. And the first one is a little bit more just on the ludicrous nature of sports itself. Now, when my youngest daughter was visiting colleges, we did visit the College of Michigan. It's a lovely university, absolutely gorgeous campus, very nice. You can't deny it. It's actually quite pretty out there. But in case you missed it, a few years ago, the year that the Michigan Wolverines won the national championship, they were stealing signs from the other side. It's really easy if you know what the play is coming, how to defend it. Yeah, it really is. And they got caught on this one. The NCAA Division I Committee on Infractions ruled that the University of Michigan's advanced scouting case Friday, with the school facing a series of fines that could eclipse $30 million. The $30 million, what's that? The take at the beer gardens during a football game, for goodness sakes. The Wolverines avoided punitive penalties such as postseason ban or vacating victories, including during the 2023 national championship season. The NCAA also imposed an additional game suspension for coach Sharon Moore, who will be served for the first game of the 2026 season. Moore is expected to serve a 2-game suspension in the upcoming season, which ESPN reported in May that the university proposed to self-impose. They even knew that they were in trouble, and so they came out and said, look, we're taking this real seriously. By the way, we need to polish up that trophy. He also received a 2-year show cause penalty. The 2025 games he'll miss will be that doesn't matter so much easily. The NCAA committee also levied an 8-year show cause penalty for the former Michigan staffer Connor Stallions and 10-year show cause for ex-coach Jim Harbaugh, who's now in the NFL. Those essentially act as barriers to schools hiring them in the future. Harbaugh's new 10-year show per cause penalty will not begin until after he serves a current 4-year show per cause, the previous NCAA case. But of course, what did he do? He immediately left Michigan, took an NFL job. He's never coming back to college anyway. The size of the fines is expected to be considerable, although the finite amount will not be immediately available. The fines include a $50,000 initial levy, 10% of all the football budget, 10% of the cost of football scholarships for the 2025 season, the cost of all postseason competition revenue starting in the 2025-26 seasons. That sum easily could eclipse 30 million. There are variables on how much teams get from football postseason revenue, blah, 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 blah. Another assistant coach was hit with a 3-year show cause penalty. In the sign stealing case, Michigan and its coaches and staffers were charged with 6 level 1 violations, which are the most serious. The decision to fine the school heavily, not to issue penalties such as postseason ban, indicates a shift in the NCAA enforcement rulings away from postseason prohibitions. The NCAA said in a report that although Michigan's violations would make a multi-year postseason ban appropriate, it aimed not to punish current Wolverine athletes based on the Constitution. You can let them move to different teams, okay? And let's read. Okay, this one of the things I don't like. Let me start with this. One of the things I don't like about this is we already have a mess in college football. Players will play 1 year, enter the portal, play another 1 year, enter the portal. There's no loyalty. There's no there. They leave college early. They're not there. All of a sudden, when these schools are in trouble, all of a sudden they act like, well, these college players, every single one of them were here for a 4-year college degree. No, they weren't. No, they weren't. And if they were a backup, they're going to leave anyway. So this whole, hey, we don't want to punish the players. That's just a thin veil over the reality. I'll get to that in a second. The NCAA used similar guidance and decided not to implement a roster reduction to Michigan. The NCAA said that a more appropriate penalty would be a financial one. Let's just call this out as it is. All right. If this was Rutgers or Utah State or Rhode Island or Dayton, they'd all vacated their wins. They would all had erased their titles. If they had a bowl game championship, all would be erased, and these penalties would be in place. The reason you know for a fact that the team cheated to win the championship. And at the very least, you could pull the championship off their wall and say, you didn't get this. You cheated to get this. You don't deserve this. And they don't want to do this. And why? Well, go to any mall. If you still have a mall around you, go to any mall and walk into the lid store. And what's one of the number one hats you'll find? Michigan. That's right. They're a popular school. That's why they're not being punished. That's why the NCAA is we're going to give them a real big financial penalty and wag our fingers so hard. Oh, waggy, 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 waggy. No, you can rip the championship away from them, as you should. And yeah, you should ban them from the postseason because they cheated to win. This is like when Major League Baseball allowed Boston and Houston to keep their World Series championships, even though both teams clearly cheated to get the World Series championship. You are a laughingstock because even your own rules don't matter anymore. They don't. They just don't. And so that's the problem. And the NCAA, let's just say it was Rutgers, a lower school, a lesser school in the Big Ten. If Rutgers would have had this happen, they would be out. They'd be banning them. We're ripping away your championships. We're ripping away your games wins. We're going to do this because remember when everyone got mad at us because of Michigan, we needed to be tough. So we're going to be tough guys now. And then the next week when Ohio State is caught, not saying it is, I'm just making the example, okay? But Ohio State is caught, then all of a sudden the NCAA is, well, you guys got so upset when we were harsh with Rutgers, so they've done a pinky swear, and they said they're not going to do it again, so they can keep their championships. I mean, so, and once again, that's not a implication that Ohio State did anything wrong, just more an example for the story. The team that did something wrong is Michigan. But once again, this is the same NCAA that they found out one of their coaches was raping children under the guise of the football program on football property, on school property, and they didn't scour that program off the face of the freaking earth. And as a matter of fact, said, it's really a shame here. These football players, should they really be victims? I can tell you right now, you saying football players who might have to transfer to a different school are the real victim when children were raped in your Penn State facilities is an insult beyond insults, you closed-minded dorks. Die God, man. So once again, here it is. They go to the lid store. Where's the hat on the ranking of sales? Well, that's pretty high up there, so we can't ban them from postseason play. That's exactly what that is. That's all that is. There's another one out there that I sports story, though, I want to cover here, and it has a connection here to the Twin Cities because Minnesota defensive coordinator Brian Flores, his lawsuit against the NFL and several of its teams can proceed to open court after a federal appeals court ruled on August 14th that the league's arbitration provision is unenforceable. The decision, published in a written brief by a 3-judge panel at the Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals, affirmed a 2023 ruling issued by a lower court and paves the way for Flores to move ahead with his lawsuit. Flores initially sued the league and several of its teams in 2022, alleging racial discrimination in hiring practices. Flores' attorney hailed Thursday's ruling a victory for not only NFL employees, but for workers across the country and for anyone who believes in transparency, accountability, and justice. The significance of the Second Circuit's decision cannot be overstated. Attorneys Douglas Wigdor, David Gottlieb, and John, I'm not even going to try that last name, said in a statement, for too long, the NFL has relied on the fundamentally biased and unfair arbitration process, even in cases involving serious claims of discrimination. This ruling sends a clear message that practice must end. NFL spokesperson Brian McCarthy wrote in an email that the league intends to appeal the decision. We respectfully disagree with the panel's ruling in the Flores case and will be seeking further review, McCarthy wrote. Thursday's decision marked a second significant legal defeat for the NFL in 4 days. The Nevada Supreme Court also ruled against the league and criticized the arbitration provisions ahead of its constitution on August 11th in a separate lawsuit filed by former Las Vegas Raiders head coach John Gruden. The league is also asking for a rehearing in that case. If the NFL's rehearing requests are unsuccessful, the league can then appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court, which could choose whether or not to hear the case. While the facts of the allegations of the two lawsuits are substantially different, the NFL has taken the early legal step in each, trying to force the disputes behind closed doors into private arbitration. Flores' lawsuit was originally filed in February of 2022, alleged systemic racial discrimination in the hiring, retention, and termination of NFL coaches and executives. More specifically, he said the Denver Broncos and the New York Giants brought him in for a sham head coaching interviews and alleged the Miami Dolphins and Houston Texans retaliated against him. The NFL dismissed the claims as without merit and has since argued the issues fall under the arbitration case clause in the league's constitution, which allows the commissioner, Roger Goodell, to rule on the various disputes or appoint an independent arbitrator to oversee them, who he gets to pick. Coaches agree to abide the NFL Constitution when signing their employment contracts with the teams. So, first of all, I'm just going to just say this. I think, Flores actually has a pretty decent lawsuit. That there are numerous, when their coaching hires happen in the league, they already know which white coach they want to hire. and they only bring in black coaches to do a base interview that they're not really interested in because they already have their decision, which is not a black coach. It is a white coach. And so this entire sham process is being pulled down by Flores, and I agree with him. And why do I say that? Why do I say that there is such racism? Because, I mean, my God, that league has got okay, maybe I won't call it a racism problem, but it definitely has a problem where if you are progressive or left-leaning or black or gay, that generally you get treated a lot differently than if you are a mega guy. Let's go with the consummate example of this, Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick, rightfully so, to protest the injustice towards the black community in this country that has been here for a while and getting worse lately, knelt during the national anthem to gain attention. And what did all of those rightos say? Shut up, stand up, make him stand up. He doesn't have any rights. And you could actually hear the real words that these white angry people were trying to say about Colin Kaepernick. You know where they wanted to go with that. Well, the league quite literally blacklisted him. And this is a guy who should have been brought in as a quarterback. When you looked at the quarterbacks that were starting in the league when this all happened and he couldn't get even a tryout, it was clear that the league was blacklisting him and preventing him because he was an uppity black guy. That's what it was in their minds. The proof of that is how they treated Kansas City Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker when, was it last year, he made some pretty inappropriate things, said some things. He railed against Pride Month, working women, U.S. President Biden's leadership during COVID-19, and abortion during a commencement at Benedictine College last year. The three-time Super Bowl champion, a 20-minute address, Butker, who has made his conservative Catholic beliefs well known, began his address by attacking what he called dangerous gender ideologies, an apparent reference to Pride Month, which had been celebrated in June since the Stonewall riots in 1969. He also criticized an article by the Associated Press highlighting a shift towards conservatism in some parts of the Catholic Church. Then he took aim at Biden's policies during COVID. He later addressed women in the audience, arguing that the most important title that a woman should have is homemaker. Yet, has there been any punishment of him? Of course not. As a matter of fact, those same conservatives that were telling Kaepernick to shut up and keep your beliefs to yourself, or isn't he a brave soul for telling the truth? No, and the NFL hasn't done a damn thing with him. He's not blacklisted. As a matter of fact, he's a poster boy. Yeah, the NFL has a racism problem, and it's wrapped in MAGA. It is the Matt McNeil Show.
Hey, it's Patrick for Zero Res. Did you know that August is Pet Appreciation Month? Zero Res doesn't use harsh soaps or chemicals, so it's safe for all your furry friends. If you have a pet like I do, you know they'd like to leave little bits of themselves around the house, whether that's fur or dander or worse, and you need to call my cleaning heroes at Zero Res to help get your house back in shape. Carpets, tile, rugs, upholstery, hardwood, every surface in your home can be Zero Resified. So if it's been months since your last deep clean, it's time to give the pros at Zero Res a call. Right now, you can get your entire home Zero Resified from Minnesota's ultimate carpet cleaner. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $124. Take 15% off pet odor treatments and $50 off an air duct cleaning when you book with Zero Res today. Call 952-ZERO-RES or go to ZeroResMinnesota.com and ask for the AM 950 special. Backward or forward spells the same. Zero Res.
Greg Bakken here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville.
Hey, it's Tom. There's a war being waged on clean energy. A bill in Congress could eliminate the 30% federal tax credit for solar by the end of 2025. And once it's gone, it may never come back. Fossil fuel giants and their MAGA friends in Washington want to kill green energy. But you can fight back. Going solar with All Energy Solar isn't just smart, it's a form of resistance. You choose where your money goes, not to utility companies, not to fossil fuel billionaires, but toward clean, renewable power for your home. A system from All Energy Solar works in Minnesota year-round because it runs on sunlight, not heat. So even in the dead of winter, you're generating electricity. And All Energy Solar helps you save with every rebate and incentive available. This is the moment to act. Waiting means risking with this tax credit and giving the upper hand to MAGA Republicans. So get your free consultation today at allenergysolar.com and take back your power.
Would you let animals pick your insurance? Do you really need to experience mayhem to get the best rates? Or how about a celebrity quarterback or fake university saving you money? There's a lot of marketing stunts when it comes to insurance, but what you really need is someone looking out for you. Call Array Insurance, and they will work hard to find you the best insurance coverage and rates. So avoid gimmicks and call Cheryl at Array, 763-504-3067, or arrayinsurance.com. Array Insurance, working hard for you.
It is the Matt McNeil Show. No, I really have a problem with the double standard in regards to this case, because Colin Kaepernick was making a legitimate statement that the injustices towards the black community needed to be addressed and paid attention to. And he was told to basically get off the stage. And once again, he was clearly blacklisted from the NFL. I mean, he would, for 3 years after he stopped playing in the NFL, he could have been he might not have been a starting quarterback, but he would definitely been a quality backup. And no one even allowed him into their facilities. I mean, it was pretty, or I shouldn't say no one, but I think it was very limited, the amount of exposure he was given. And it was, it was pretty disgusting. And what Butker said was far more offensive. All Kaepernick said was, hey, there's a lot of racial injustice in this country. And white America went after him. Butker, hey, you chickie poos, you need to stay barefoot, I'm paraphrasing, barefoot and pregnant at home and get me a beer now, huh? Shake your thing while you walk past. And that's pretty damn offensive, what he said. And I'll just make sure I say it exactly here. I think it's you, the women, who have the most diabolical lies told to you. Some of you may go into lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you're bringing to this world. I can tell you that my beautiful wife, Isabel, would be the first to say her life truly started when she started living her vocation as a wife and a mother. Okay. So basically that's, you're talking to a bunch of college graduates who are about to go out in the world. And he's basically saying, hey, you got your 4-year degree. Now get in the kitchen and whip me up a sandwich. And once again, that's pretty damn offensive. When you go to, he called dangerous gender ideologies in an apparent reference to Pride Month, which led to celebration, had been celebrated. And going after the LGBTQ population. You're attacking other human beings for being human beings. And the NFL basically looked at that and said, oh, that's fine with us. He's a rascal, because there's this insane double standard where if it's a black person who's trying to make a point, they're uppity. You got to condone. You can't condone it. You got to kind of, you try to give it lip service, but really at the end, you drive them out of the league and say, you should have known better. But if it's a righto basically screaming that, half the country should just get him a beer and shut up, chickie poo, or that LGBTQ people don't have a right to exist, or as he says, dangerous gender ideologies. I guess he's one of those guys that wants to, force you into a chair, all a Clockwork Orange, and convert you to the straight side of things. That's perfectly okay with the NFL. They're perfectly fine. No problems. I made this point this morning in regards to, because there is this double standard we have created. Have you noticed how many on a not the same thing, but just kind of related? Have you noticed how MSNBC, CNN, Huffington Post, all these people, they bring in two people. They'll bring in a Democrat who's distinguished, educated, tells the truth, has the facts, and then they'll bring in snarky, douchey, jackassy, and Republican guy. I got my zingers ready to go. Snark, 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 snark. And that is considered equal debate. And I made the point, it's like, if a Democrat ever treated a panel the way that a Republican treats a panel, that the network would force them to immediately apologize, yank them off the air immediately, and say, I'm sorry, we should never have that person out there. But that's all you get from the conservative side is snarky guy who's not telling the truth, who is basically trying to distort reality into their worldview. And these networks, particularly CNN, allows this to happen. And all you do is you start to smudge the truth under the argument is, well, some people don't want the truth to be real. And this is why I think Edgar R. Murrow would go over and punch every freaking executive at CNN in the freaking face. No, the truth is the truth. You guys shouldn't be doing this. We have this wicked double standard in our society where Republicans can lie, Republicans can spew hate, Republicans can be offensive, and, oh, if you're upset, you're woke. But a Democrat can go on out there and say, okay, here's the truth, here are the facts. My gosh, there's racial injustice in this country. You need to shut up and play football or we're going to hurt you. You can't, I don't know how we fix this problem, because this is so ingrained in our freaking society that, for God's sakes, you look at the injustices that are happening. There should have been a complete shutting down of this clown car brigade that was throwing sex toys onto the WNBA courts. And instead, there's like, oh, it's crypto guy being crypto guy. Like, that's okay. That's some sort of viable excuse for all this behavior. The Republicans have successfully broken reality. And they've gotten the news media to be their accomplices. That as long as, and I'm going to be honest with you, you go back and look at Germany in the 1930s, there was plenty of this going on there too. They went with the narrative. They went with the lies. They went with the exaggerations. And then after the fact, like, well, we were never really on board with that. We were scared. We had to report what we had to do. You should have read the stories in the silence of our own typewriters. Yes, exactly. The reality is that whether it's the NFL or it's the news media, there is this insane double standard. Brian Flores, I think, just has the guts to come on out and call it out. And, he's a pretty good coordinator, so I don't think they're going to bounce him out of the league. But trust me, if they could, they would. I honestly do feel that way. Chicago, Seattle, have a good weekend. We'll talk to you on Monday. Minneapolis, St. Paul, hour 2 up next.
Hey, it's Mitch, owner of Junk Masters, your local independently owned junk removal team. We are not a franchise, and that means personalized service you can count on. Spring's the season for cleaning out the things you're ready to let go of. Whether it's one item or a full property cleanout, we handle it all, residential or commercial. You just show us what goes. With same-day service, upfront, no-obligation pricing, and a landfill diversion program that prioritizes donating, recycling, and reuse. Visit junkmastersmn.com to learn more.
Turn to Auto Technical with your vehicle donation. We have families waiting for a car. Over 85% of unemployed are successful in finding and keeping a job if they have dependable transportation. A car plus a job equals a life changed. 612-919-5526. We have families waiting for a car. 919-5526 or autotech.org.
Join me, Tom Hartman, where smart people get their news. The Tom Hartman Program on AM 950, KTNF, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
AP News, I'm Haya Panjwani. President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin have greeted each other like old friends before starting talks on the Ukraine war. AP correspondent Sagar Meghani.
They warmly shook hands. And as they walked a red carpet at an Alaska military base, B-2 and F-22 aircraft flew overhead, jets designed to oppose Russia during the Cold War.
President Putin, will you stop killing civilians?
The leaders ignored questions before climbing into America's presidential limo. Putin had a grin on his face as they rolled to their meeting space.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Where they again did not take questions before starting hours of talks with top aides that could reshape the war and relations between their own countries. Sagar Meghani, Washington.
Tropical weather is making its way towards the Caribbean. AP's Jennifer King.
Tropical storm Erin has strengthened into a hurricane as it tracks towards the Leeward Islands.
It's now upgraded to a hurricane, the first of the 2025 season.
National Hurricane Center Director Jamie Rome.
Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands, Northern Leeward Islands, you got to be mindful of the flood risk.
Forecasters say Erin has been gaining strength as it tracks westward over warm Atlantic waters. Tropical storm watches have been issued for parts of the Leeward Islands, including Antigua and St. Martin. Rome says Erin is forecast to take a sharp turn northeast. High waves and dangerous surf are expected to affect the East Coast and especially the Carolinas next week.
That wave energy will move towards the East Coast of the United States and create a huge rip current risk.
I'm Jennifer King.
New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell was indicted on federal conspiracy, fraud, and obstruction charges. That's based on accusations that she tried to hide a romantic relationship with her bodyguard, who was paid as if he was working. This is AP News.
Sound familiar? At Mattress Firm, we understand there are many problems like snoring, aches and pains, hot sleep, or even an old saggy mattress that can keep you up at night. And our sleep experts have the unrivaled know-how to match you with a mattress that can help. Now get a king bed for a queen price, plus a free adjustable base with select mattresses. For the great sleep you deserve, visit Mattress Firm. We make sleep easy. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Stop by Sherwin-Williams and get 30% off select paints and stains August 15th through the 18th. It's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Refresh your home inside and out with colors that make every space feel brand new. From cozy interiors to stunning exteriors, we've got the perfect shade for your next project. Visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store or shop the sale online. Delivery available on qualifying orders. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Hey, it's Tom. There's a war being waged on clean energy. A bill in Congress could eliminate the 30% federal tax credit for solar by the end of 2025. And once it's gone, it may never come back. Fossil fuel giants and their MAGA friends in Washington want to kill green energy. But you can fight back. Going solar with All Energy Solar isn't just smart, it's a form of resistance. You choose where your money goes, not to utility companies, not to fossil fuel billionaires, but toward clean, renewable power for your home. A system from All Energy Solar works in Minnesota year-round because it runs on sunlight, not heat. So even in the dead of winter, you're generating electricity. And All Energy Solar helps you save with every rebate and incentive available. This is the moment to act. Waiting means risking with this tax credit and giving the upper hand to MAGA Republicans. So get your free consultation today at allenergysolar.com and take back your power.
The place for live music is the Park Tavern. Live music takes over the Park Tavern's dog-friendly patio. Head over on Tuesday, August 19th. It's the Ice Holes. Wednesday, August 20th, it's Ash St. John. And on Thursday, August 21st, it's Tom Hunter. Music runs from 5:30 to 8 p.m. and reservations for groups of 8 or more are recommended. And the Park Tavern offers private and semi-private spaces for small and large groups with no room fees and no minimum spending requirements. On Louisiana Avenue, north of Highway 7 in St. Louis Park, outdoor live music is on at the Park Tavern.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for sunny skies today with a high near 89. Tonight, showers and storms with a low around 70. And Saturday, cloudy with a high around 83. August is Pet Appreciation Month, and Zero Res is safe for all pets with no harsh soaps or chemicals. Right now, you can get 3 rooms of carpet clean for just $124 plus 15% off pet odor treatments. Book at ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 952-ZERO-RES.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
Hour number 2 of the show here on AM 950. It's the Matt McNeil Show. 952-946-6205. Patrick, our good friend Robert Pilot, Native Roots Radio, is coming up here after this show. Pilot posted this great picture. So this is the 1988 Minnesota State Fair bandstand lineup. I think this is the first one. Or is it the first one? No, I don't know if it's the first one. But this is their lineup 1988, so almost 40 years ago, okay? Now, it seems like they had 2 shows a day. They had a show at 2, and then they had a show at 8, which would be a short show because, I mean, if it's at 8 o'clock, they shut that sucker down at 10, don't they? They don't play on the stage after that, do they?
I couldn't tell you that for sure, but possibly.
Maybe this was before those days that they just played until dark and people in St. Paul just dealt with it. The Alabama, not bad. I mean, they got a few hits. With Katie Oslin. Katie Oslin was opening up for Alabama. That's a good get. They played 2 nights, August 25th, 26th. The Beach Boys played August 27th, both shows. They did 2 shows that day. And that looks like a good chunk of the original lineup too. Peter, Paul, and Mary. They weren't bad. They had a 2 o'clock show on August 28th. The Judds and Randy Travis. I do like Randy Travis. His voice is just so smooth, man. August 28th, 8 p.m. Belinda Carlisle. Hello. Yes, I like those go-go's. Belinda Carlisle, speaking of wonderful voices, she had the 2 o'clock show. She did an afternoon show over there. Chuck Berry and the Fabulous Thunderbirds, August 29th. That would have been a great show. REO Speedwagon in their heyday too. They were in their prime in 1988. The Manhattan Transfer, Boy from New York City. Nice. That was August 31st. Roger Whittaker, September 1st, 8 o'clock show. Willie Nelson and Emmylou Harris. How about that? They played both shows on September 2nd. They played the 8 o'clock show only. Willie looks so young in this picture. God, he looks so young in this picture. The Everly Brothers, September 3rd, 2 p.m. Not a bad show. Okay, here's the dud in the bunch. Leno. Leno. This has got to be pre-Carson, pre-Tonight Show. And he was doing an 8 o'clock show. He just been on tour doing the comedy bit.
I kind of struggle to think about that in the modern day, that you would go to the state fair to see a stand-up show.
Well, I mean, if you like if you got one Nate Bargatze, if you got him, or who's the guy that did all the Saturday Night Live writer that had all the drug problems? Oh God, I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
You're not talking about Chris Farley, are you?
No, I'm talking about the guy who's around today. Anyway, he's having his comeback. He does his show on Netflix. I can't remember his off the top of my head. Anyway, but one of those big ones, one of those big artists, sure, I could see that in a heartbeat. I mean, one of the biggest ones, yeah. The Dirty Dancing, I remember this. Okay, so Dirty Dancing, I think, came out in '87, and Bill Medley, Eric Carmen, and some of the people that were on the soundtrack went out and did a road tour there. They did that. That was September 4th. Reba McEntire and Southern Pacific. Nice. That was that Sunday night. And then they had Miller High Life 300 ASS stock car racing on September 5th. When was the last year they had racing on the track that used to be around the grandstand? Do you remember that?
I feel like somebody just talked about this with me like last year, and I don't remember.
I'm kind of surprised it was 88 they were doing it. I don't remember. I don't know if I went to the fair on Labor Day. I mean, I had a Minnesota father, and that's like, okay, wait a second, school starts tomorrow. We need to have you in bed by 2 in the afternoon. So yeah, they did Star Car racing. It must have been fairly soon after that the Star Car racing ended. Because I can tell you right, if you didn't like the Everly Brothers playing at the grandstand, I can't imagine you're a big fan of outside there in St. Paul by those neighborhoods. Hello, Cleveland Avenue, 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. I'm looking forward to the fair. Kicks off a little week from yesterday. It's next Thursday. Fair kicks off. I'm looking forward to getting out there. I've got to try to get. I might be going on out there either Thursday or Friday. And the reason why is because my daughters want to go before they go off to college. And so it's got to be one of those first few days because they got to move in dates coming in the week after that. And so, yeah, I'm probably going to be out there either Thursday or Friday. I'll do some scouting on the ground. What's your first day at the fair?
I might actually end up out there Friday myself. I got a friend coming into town. We're going to go a couple of times while he's here during that long week leading up to Labor Day. But I got to go by myself at some point, too.
I do, too. If you're out there on Friday, if I get out there on Friday, I'll text you and we'll see if we can, we'll see if we can find and we'll team up and do the food tasting together. Okay. I'm going to be here. If I go out on that Friday, I'm going to be here with one of those gyros from that stand over by the merry-go-round. Oh, I'll be eating that live on air. That's going to be the entire Friday show next week. Well, it's pretty much every show I do. I mean, I'm eating something in here.
Whole second hour is just ASMR with Matt McNeil.
I don't know why you're listening to this so intently, but here it is. 952-946-6205. Yeah, this is me rubbing the mic against my face. There you go. Yike, I don't even want to know what's in that microphone cover. All right, back to news and fun stuff. Hey, they caught the guy that shot the gun at the St. Anthony Cub food store, and it's exactly what you thought. Ethan Daniel Frank Marks, one guy, 24 years old, was arrested on Tuesday in Minneapolis, charged Thursday in Ramsey County with second-degree assault, threats of violence, and reckless discharge of a firearm, all felonies. St. Anthony Police Department claims that during the arrest, Marks tried to run away from the officers and had a loaded handgun and was reportedly stolen and a significant quantity of meth on him. Once again, responsible gun ownership. A significant quantity of meth. Dear Lord. In addition, an additional possession of meth charge was filed against Marks in Hennepin County, where he was arrested 2 days after the incident in St. Anthony. Marks allegedly fired a shot at the ceiling of the Cub Foods store. I'm going to say possibly meth-induced. This is on Silver Lake Road just before midnight Sunday after another customer accused him of trying to shoplift. Oh, okay. So it was okay. So that was not clear. I thought he had he said that other person was trying to shoplift. He was the one that was trying to shoplift. Where is the meth aisle at a Cub? Is that by pasta?
Yeah, because I made the same mistake you did. If you remember, I commented that, it was probably a guy who was trying to intervene in a shoplifting, and it turned out it was the other way around.
Yeah, he was apparently, no, Cub Foods is a fine grocery store. They do not have a meth department. They have, I do like your potato salad. It is okay. That's for sure. Yeah. Trying to shoplift. According to the police report, the gun used by Marks in that incident is different from the one he had in possession during the arrest. I'm sure the meth head will be able to tell us exactly where the other gun is. I would not let this guy out. I mean, clearly he has some problems, but he also has a gun fetish. And, that's not exactly chocolate and peanut butter, meth and loaded firearms. Okay. You're not going to like that combo platter. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. Speaking of criminals, I've got one in Garvin, Minnesota. It's a little town out there, just south, kind of southeast a little bit of Marshall, maybe about 20 miles. An appliance salesman. And I don't know why, but if I read an appliance salesman at the beginning of a story about rural America, I have a feeling it's about to become a Coen Brothers film. An appliance salesman in rural Minnesota accused of swindling more than $200,000 from more than 50 victims has reached a plea deal that pays back his victims. Darren Lee Horner, 55, of Garvin, pled guilty to 2 to 6 felony counts of theft by swindle in a filing to Lyon County District Court on Tuesday. The plea deal calls for the dismissal of 5 other felony counts, including one for racketeering. Horner is due in the coroner. For sentencing on December 16th. At a plea hearing, Horner admitted to taking money from customers without ordering the appliances purchased and with the intent to not deliver the goods they had paid for, according to a statement from the Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison. It's hard to afford your life when thieves and scammers take your money for products they never actually deliver. We're about to find out what this guy spent the money on. $200K. Take a guess. Just let it. You want to take a guess on this one?
Let me guess. A very expensive car.
Yes, that's one of them. I bet you could do this again. Do it. Give me another one.
A fancy boat.
Two. You're doing great. Also, I want you to think about what is a common theme of these people that steal money. What do they then do?
Just kind of throw it around carelessly.
In what town?
Vegas.
Yeah! Patrick's batting 1,000 right now. Well done. Well, Vegas eventually. He went to Wisconsin Dells.
Family fun.
Well, it's cheap now, apparently. It doesn't cost you an appliance. According to the criminal complaint from 2017 to 2019, Horner used payments from dozens of customers for trips to Wisconsin Dells, to Vegas, a car, house payments, fantasy football fees, and basically a personal watercraft. There you go. He wanted to be the big wheeler dealer. That's what this is all about. He wants to be the big guy with all the money. Look at him. He's so successful. And jail. Horner's company, Affordable Appliance Plus in Tracy, touted itself as a new open box seller, featuring deep discounts on merchandise, but with a long lead time. So I'm guessing what that concept is that basically an appliance comes in a box, but that someone's opened the box and didn't like the TV, so took it back to the store, and obviously it's still a working TV or working dishwasher or working whatever, refrigerator, whatever the appliance is, and then they can resell it on the secondary market, and this guy steps in and they get some cheaper. Police in Tracy said they'd received more than 40 complaints from customers telling them that Horner had bilked them out of their purchases. In some instances, a few customers got refunds, but it was from money that came from other victims. That's called a Ponzi scheme. Horner excuses for delays include holidays, road closures, and pending flooding. I can't make it to your wedding because there's going to be some pending flooding eventually. Good luck with the nuptials. His plea deal calls for him to receive a stay of execution on his sentence. Oh, gosh, I was like, wow, that was kind of a harsh penalty. A stay of execution on the sentence. Horner will be placed on probation for 5 years, must serve between 270 days and a year in jail. So he's going to be going to jail for a while there. Split between 2026 and 2027. He also agreed to pay $60,000 in restitution to victims before sentencing. He also has to pay back all the victims across all counts, even ones that had been dropped. So he has to pay back all the money and does this. I bet you when you go to prison and you tell them about your wild weekend in Vegas, they're all going to be so impressed. I mean, they are going to be so impressed. It never ceases to amaze me, man. People that will steal money. Usually, a lot of the time, it's people like working in the money and the accounting side of a business. They end up stealing a bunch of money and off to Vegas they go, because they're so desperate to live some sort of great wheeler dealer life moment that they were the high roller. Look at me, I'm getting a steak in a fine restaurant, doing this sort of thing. Yeah, just horrible. I'm glad that, this actually does seem like a pretty good penalty against the guy. He's going to go to a year in jail and has to pay everyone back, and that's a good thing. But still, well, that's if he shows up for sentencing in December. I'll have a story about that coming up here a little bit later on. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. Let's take a break. Come on back. It is the Matt McNeil Show here on your Friday.
Pretty, this, that pretty girl mantra, this, that flaunt.
Overwhelmed trying to make sense of Medicare? As a licensed advisor, I can help you determine your healthcare needs and evaluate your options. I'm Harvey Pearl of Pearl & Company, and I want you to have the peace of mind knowing you have the best coverage available. You deserve an advocate you can trust and coverage you can rely on. And there's no fee, ever. Annual enrollment is October 15th through December 7th. Find me at pearlsofwisdom.com. That's PERLES of wisdom.com. So we can strategize together.
End-of-life decisions are not easy to make. Hi, I'm Mary T. of Mary T. Hospice Care. It's important to make sure that this difficult time is meaningful and comforting to you and your loved ones. Our hospice team provides an individualized program of physical, emotional, spiritual, and practical care so your loved one is comfortable and not in pain. At Mary T. Hospice, we understand that choosing the right hospice care provider can be overwhelming, but we're here to assist you. Learn more today at marytinc.com.
Hi, I'm Peter Solak.
And I'm Adam Ostrowski.
We are here at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces to talk about the joy of live fire cooking. Cooking over a live fire is the oldest and most basic form of cooking.
What's new is in the way fire is handled and its heat is managed.
It's easier to experience and enjoy the smell and taste of food cooked over a live fire.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces sells and installs live fire grills, fire pits, and ovens. Let us help you experience the smell, the taste, the fun of cooking with fire.
Pizza was first made and is still best made in an open fire oven. The radiant and conductive heat of a live fire is unmatched for wood roasting and baking artisan breads too.
Come see the many ways you can cook over a live fire.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces has over 35 working wood and gas units on display at the corner of East Franklin and Riverside Avenue in Minneapolis. More information at woodlandstoves.com. Find the fire that works for you. Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, out of the ordinary products and services since 1977.
Summer is going fast, but Next Chapter Booksellers has everything you need to keep up with your summer reading. From the hottest new titles to timeless classics, Next Chapter Booksellers has something for any taste. Their friendly staff are great at making recommendations for the perfect summer read for you or your loved ones. Plus, Next Chapter Booksellers has a wide variety of puzzles and games for those rainy days. So keep up with your summer reading at Next Chapter Booksellers off Snelling and Grand in St. Paul. More at nextchapterbooksellers.com.
It is the Matt McNeil Show. 952-946-6205. Staying with the crime, there's two stories here I want to get to here before the bottom of the hour. And this is one that I've actually had on the roster for a few days. I just have not been able to get to this because I want to talk about Brian Keith Hooper. For nearly 30 years, Hooper has insisted he is not a murderer. New information recently presented by the Hennepin County Attorney's Office suggests he may be telling the truth. On Tuesday, Hennepin County Attorney Mary Moriarty and the Greater North Innocence Project met with reporters to discuss an effort to vacate Hooper's 1998 conviction for murder. And, like I said, this is 1998. He's been sitting in jail. He was the murder of Anne Prasniak, a beloved 77-year-old who was killed and then stuffed into a box. Yikes. Her apartment at 1818 Park Avenue South was taken over by a rotating cast of drug addicts, including Hooper, who admitted to smoking crack and having sex in the victim's apartment, but insisted he was not the one who killed her. So it sounds like, and I don't remember this case per se. I think I was living in Iowa at the time. But so they killed the woman, and then they basically just took over her house and used it as a drug den. Hooper has appealed the conviction multiple times over the years, including one that insisted a fellow drug user named Shalaka Lewis, now Shalaka Young, had confessed to Prosniak's murder. Young, ironically, was a key witness in Hooper's trial, telling jurors that he asked her to be on the lookout on the day the elderly woman was killed and then made her help package the victim in the box. In court documents filed in Hennepin County Tuesday morning, Hooper and the Great Northern Innocence Project say Young, who is currently serving a 10-year sentence in Georgia prison for battery, recently signed a handwritten statement admitting she was actually the one that killed Prosniak, prompted by her newfound sobriety, her spiritual awakening, and the crushing weight of a secret she has carried for 27 years. I publicly lied to you, and I will do all it takes to fix it so you can make know the truth. I hurt you so bad, and you can't get back that time I stole from you, but I can now tell you the truth so that all will know that you truly was innocent. Hooper quotes Lewis as saying, I pray that you have found God during this time and can forgive me. Please forgive me, Brian Hooper. So this doesn't sound like a case where there's some evidence that threw the conviction into question. This is an admission that somebody else did the crime, meaning you got the wrong guy in jail. And you're going to have to go back in time. I mean, let's face it, for the murderer to probably quickly run to the cops and say, I didn't do it. I was made to be on the lookout. It was this other person that did it. Interesting way. And considering the racist nature of the cops back then, up until recently, slightly less today, but considering the nature of that, I imagine they just said, good enough for us. Good enough for us. And yeah. The petition filed Tuesday contains Young's alleged recollection of events, including smoking crack in a stairwell and then encountering Prosniak in the hallway, asking the elderly woman if she had something to drink. Once inside Prosniak's apartment, Young allegedly claims the next thing she remembers is waking up on the couch and seeing Miss Ann lying on the floor. I was so consumed with fear and evil, and all I thought about was how to not get caught. Each time I would take a hit of dope, I would get ideas, tape up the body, put it in a box, shove it in the closet. That's what I did, Young reportedly wrote. So you've got the wrong guy who has been in jail. And hey, the guy clearly had some problems back then. But anything that he had done back then, as he said, he admitted to smoking crack and having sex in the victim's apartment. Okay, fine. I think we can say that he has served enough time for this. Get him out of there. I just wish that we would do the due diligence on some of these cases on the front end, that all of a sudden when evidence like this comes to light and clearly you have the wrong guy, that then all of a sudden it's like, well, I'm inclined to believe him, but I want to basically make sure before I let this person go. Well, an outright admission from somebody. I get him out. I'm glad he's getting out of jail. I hope he gets out here pretty soon. 952-946-6205. 952-946-6205 is the phone number. I also want to make sure I mention this. State Senator Tao Zhang. It's Tao Zhang or Tu Zhang? Tao Zhang. Tao Zhang, the DFLer from Maplewood, was arrested and booked in Ramsey County Jail at 3:52 in the morning on August 14th on suspicion of driving while intoxicated. This is Zhang's second arrest while in office. He pled guilty to DWI charges in 2022 and was ordered to a year of probation and a $288 fine. In a statement provided to the DFL spokesperson, Zhang said he was driving home from a family gathering when he was arrested on suspicion of driving while intoxicated. I will take full responsibility for my actions and sincerely apologize to my constituents and the people I've let down. He said, I want to thank law enforcement for doing their job and keeping the road safe today. I've begun the work of talking to my family and my Senate colleagues about the situation. State troopers stopped the Honda CRV in the area of Highway 36 in McNeil in Maplewood after observing the car weaving out of its lane and not using a signal, according to the State Patrol. The driver was identified as Zhang. State Patrol said Zhang provided a breath test indicating his blood alcohol content of 0.09, 0.01 over the legal limit. He was booked on suspicion of third-degree DWI. No criminal charges related to his arrest have been filed. A spokesperson for the State Patrol said the department submitted charges to the Maplewood prosecutor's office. He is the chair of the State Senate and Local Government Committee. He was the first elected to legislature in 2018. Now, let me remind everybody, I have zero tolerance for this because I was hit by a drunk driver and they broke my back. As a matter of fact, today, I had the absolute privilege of reconnecting with my lawyer over that case, Lindsay Keller. Keller, Woods, and Thompson, by the way. Keller, Woods, and Thompson. Give them a call. You need a personal injury lawyer? Give them a call. They're good people. Lindsay's fantastic. Tell him I told you to give a call. Lindsay was fantastic and was a rock I needed when this all happened. I have zero. I don't drink. I don't. You want to drink, that's fine. In this day and age in our society, you can walk home. You can get a ride from a friend. You can take city transportation, get a cab, get an Uber, get a Lyft. There is zero reason for anybody to be schnockered off their gourd and get behind the wheel of a car. Zero. None. I have zero tolerance. Dude, you need to fix your life. I understand. Oops. This is now the second one. You need to take some time and fix your freaking life. And you should be grateful that you didn't slam into anybody and break their back. I don't care. I don't care where you come from. I don't care what your political ideology is. Wrong is freaking wrong. And I will not, I swear to God, I will not sit back and tolerate any more of this. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. When we do return, we have another delightful story from rural Minnesota where, guys, if you don't want people to run with the stereotype of what rural Minnesotans are like, then you might not want to act like rural Minnesotans. The cliche that is, you keep your newfangled things away from me. Okay. That's your precursor. I'll talk more when I do return. It is the Matt McNeil Show here on the Friday.
Hey, it's Patrick for Zero Res. Did you know that August is Pet Appreciation Month? Zero Res doesn't use harsh soaps or chemicals, so it's safe for all your furry friends. If you have a pet like I do, you know they'd like to leave little bits of themselves around the house, whether that's fur or dander or worse, and you need to call my cleaning heroes at Zero Res to help get your house back in shape. Carpets, tile, rugs, upholstery, hardwood, every surface in your home can be Zero Resified. So if it's been months since your last deep clean, it's time to give the pros at Zero Res a call. Right now, you can get your entire home Zero Resified from Minnesota's ultimate carpet cleaner. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $124. Take 15% off pet odor treatments and $50 off an air duct cleaning when you book with Zero Res today. Call 952-ZERO-RES or go to ZeroResMinnesota.com and ask for the AM 950 special. Backward or forward spells the same. Zero Res.
Turn to Auto Technical with your vehicle donation. Even though Auto Technical is a small nonprofit, we have helped more families with transportation than any organization in Minnesota. Since '94, we have reconditioned donated vehicles so they have a higher tax benefit. Call Richard at 612-919-5526, 612-919-5526, or autotech.org.
This year, the adventure is calling louder than ever before. Craft your own magic at the Wicked Wand Workshop. Race for glory at the Ninja Warrior Challenge. Or battle for honor at the Viking Invasion. Plus, enjoy classic favorites like live armored combat jousting or slay your hunger with tasty turkey legs. The Minnesota Renaissance Festival is back with new adventures. Get your tickets now at renaissancefest.com. Huzzah!
When was the last time you had your roof inspected for extreme weather and hail damage? This is Chad, owner of AM 950, to talk about the exterior construction company I trust, Snap Construction. If you've noticed new roofing projects in your neighborhood, your home was likely hit by hail last summer and experienced damage. Snap Construction is helping homeowners like you, and they're the roofing specialists I trust. They are the most well-reviewed contractor in the Twin Cities and have a ton of positive customer reviews from homeowners just like you. Even better, Snap Construction's installations are backed by a lifetime warranty, so you know you're dealing with a qualified roofing expert. You want to work with a company that will be here for a long time after the work is done. Snap Construction has handled thousands of claims and will help you through the process. Do yourself a favor and get a free roofing inspection so you have the facts and peace of mind you deserve. Call Snap Construction today at 612-333-SNAP. That's 612-333-SNAP. Or visit snapconstruction.com.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, showers and thunderstorms possible with a low of 71. Then Saturday, another good chance of showers and thunderstorms with a high of 84. If your home is in need of a deep clean, give the cleaning pros at Zero Res a call. This month, get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $124 when you call 9520-RES or go to ZeroResMinnesota.com and ask for the AM 950 special.
It is the Matt McNeil Show. It does look like some storms going to be moving into the Twin Cities here over the evening. Just it sounds like some of them could be. Have you been outside lately, man? It is thick. It is moist and thick outside.
I haven't been outside since this morning, but I did check the weather. I saw the dew point is 76. I'm like, Miami? Why?
I was meeting with Lindsay. It was good to see Lindsay Keller again. Once again, Keller, Woods, and Thompson. I was good to see her today, and it was this morning, and all of a sudden I just started sweating like a pig. Like, maybe we should have sat inside the coffee shop. I did like this little bit of trolling. I don't want to know if I call it trolling myself, but Hillary Clinton has come on out, and to a point, I would agree with her. She says, I'll nominate Donald Trump for a Nobel Peace Prize myself. That was Hillary Clinton. If Trump can negotiate Putin to get the heck out of Ukraine completely, that no land is lost into Ukraine, Putin leaves. If Trump can somehow negotiate that, that would be a pretty good negotiation. But I don't think that Putin has got, he wants Ukrainian land. That's for sure. So we'll have to see. I don't know that you want to know the truth is I'll give Hillary Clinton credit. That's it. I got to imagine Trump saw that and said, what do I have to do? But by the way, if you want to see something funny, watch the video of Trump walking down the red carpet to go meet Putin, and they speed it up a little bit, and he can't walk a straight line. He's literally weaving left and right and left and right. He is a atrocious human being. 952-946-6205. So there is always this funny element of rural America where it's, and I started talking about this years ago when they were screaming that teachers are horrible and they need to be put in place and put under control, and you don't have any rights, and how dare you teach your child something I don't agree that you need to teach everything I say to teach, that sort of thing. And so all of a sudden, when all the teachers left, and this was a big problem, and still is to a point a big problem in rural school districts, that basically the community was like, why doesn't anybody want a teacher? You mean the people that you basically said, I'm going to murder you in your sleep? Yeah, there's a funny story. They don't want to stick around for that. And there's this disconnect that they have out there. I mean, there was that one town where they were talking about The one family wanted just access to the road, which everyone else had. And for some reason, the community is out there saying, you can't have access to this road. You need to build a mile-long driveway to your house off this other road. That's the only way we're going to cut it. And it was just the stupidest, dumbest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. It was just an absolutely just, and these people are wondering, why don't these people want to come back after college and live in our community with our wholesome way of life? Well, you guys are kind of jerks sometimes. Now, I'm not saying people in the metro area aren't jerks. Trust me, there are lots of jerks here. But, you know, you go on out there, you're the ones talking about the quality of life, the wholesome nature, the great existence you have out there. And you guys have a tendency of being the ones that shoot yourself in the own foot. Now, I say that as I get into this next story. Liz Fielder Mergen opened her quaint little flower farm after her husband had died from a heart attack there 5 years ago. She was determined to build a business she could pass on to her two daughters, the sixth generation to live on the farm. So she began planning for a retail store and a small event space to host baby showers or classes where people could create their own bouquets and wreaths. Okay. So once again, I want to make, because this is a linchpin of the story here. She was planning a little retail store and a small event space. So baby showers, nothing too extraordinary, or classes where people create their own bouquets and wreaths. Sounds great. And as a matter of fact, what an absolutely fan-freaking-tastic idea. That's a cool thing to have, especially out there where you can make your own wreath, make it, that'd be great. Love this idea. Good for you. This is St. Joseph. So this is kind of, once again, on the west side of the St. Cloud metro area. It gets a little farmy out there. That's where she's at. But Fielder Mergen, 36, has become the subject of increasing hostility in the 6 months since the Stearns County Board approved a permit allowing her to erect a new building on her farm north of St. Joseph. Neighbors have cursed at her, called her a liar, flipped her off on the road outside of her house, she said. How dare you make a holiday wreath? Okay, once again, this outcry, she wanted to build a business space so she could host baby showers and do-it-yourself flower arrangements. Flippity, 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 flippity. The call is coming from within your own house. She blames the controversy on one commissioner, Joe Persky, who says he doesn't want the flower farm to cause the sorts of noise complaints he's seen at another venue in his district. Okay. He's gotten the neighborhood fixated that it's going to be something that it's not. And over again, he keeps saying that it's going to be Wee Fest. In case you don't know, she wants to open a small retail space to host baby showers and some classes on flower arrangements. This idiot is calling it Wee Fest, referring to the 3-day summer country music festival in Detroit Lakes, which draws 70,000 people. Let me just sort of say this. First of all, if you've got 70,000 people coming to your baby shower, you need to trim that list down a little bit.
Okay, Taylor Swift, we know where you're really hiding out these days.
Oh, well, there. Do you think I'll get an invite to the shower? That'd be so awesome. We're not breaking any news. She's not pregnant, so we're not breaking any news. But just in case, I'd love to do a flower arrangement with you, Tay-Tay. Anyway, she calls it Wee Fest. Oh, God. Agritourism businesses such as what Fielder Mergen is proposing are something area officials have been looking to support as farmland prices have soared in record highs in recent years. Persky says he wants to make sure these new businesses aren't affecting neighbors and the peaceful rural life that they expect. What the F is wrong with you people? Baby showers and flower arrangements, and you're acting like it's a crack den. I want to protect the peace and quiet that they have here out on the countryside. Have you been to a flower arranging class? Peace and quiet. I just think of, like air horns. Do you think it's I don't know. This is just stupid. An owner of Milk and Honey Ciders, a cidery that added an outdoor pavilion and bandshell a few years ago, where it now holds weddings and summer music series, says his business has also been the target of Persky's ire. Persky has repeatedly said the broader concerns of fairness to surrounding homes need to be addressed, and he plans to propose a separate ordinance to address noise concerns. These issues need to be resolved, he says. Does anybody want that in their backyard? Okay. You guys, you want to know by no one wants to move out to rural America right now because you're jerks. You're a jerk. And so the cidery plays some music. My guess is they're done with their music by a reasonable hour. The more stunning side is the Fielder plan for a baby shower floral class space is somehow a mosh pit in a Husker Du show from 1982 at First Avenue. Those were good times, man. That was a good time. Fiedler's saw that a need to host small gatherings such as bridal showers and anniversary parties when her clients would tell her where the events were being held. I identified that they needed a small space venue that is a little bit more upscale than the community center. So they basically, and good for her. I mean, and that's kind of one of the problems you get sometimes with small town venues is that it's the local VFW or it's the community room at the city hall, or you might have some restaurant that has a back room in it. But for the most parts, they're not really kind of geared towards a baby shower or maybe a bridal shower or a small family gathering or a floral class. She saw an opportunity, and good for her. She looked at initially remodeling the barn, but it was too costly to bring it up to code. Instead, she decided to build a 3,600 square foot building with a store, walk-in cooler, and gathering space to rent that fits about 75 people. I'm never just wide open to the public like a pumpkin patch with 200 people coming on over. So you have to have a reservation for it. Fielder Mergen worked with the county staff before filing her application, which she said supports 3 core goals of the county's 2040 comprehensive plan: agricultural diversification, rural economic development, and local tourism growth. I like her. This is a great idea. And I mean, how many communities out there are probably listening to this description and are like, for God's sakes, move to my town. This would be fantastic. And I want to also say how I've talked about in rural America, there aren't any jobs anymore, that there's a 20-person waiting list for the third shift at the gas station. Think about the people she'd be able to hire during the summer, during the fall, and help the community by, my God, what a great idea. I like her. After she described her plans in January meeting, Persky said it sounded wholesome, but then he cautioned members of the county's planning commission not to be vague about what is allowed in the business, so she can't host a rock concert at 6:00 in the morning. Tell me you have never been to a rock concert without saying, I've never been to a rock concert. Persky was like the narc that was 20, at least he sounds like it. Fielder Mergen said she had no plans for large outdoor events with amplified music, but Persky said he's also worried about what could happen if Fielder Mergen sells her farm, her 6th-generation farm, because the permit stays with the land and the new owner could have different plans. Some guy could say, gosh, I can do these concerts and have rock and roll every weekend during the summer, he said. The approved permit allows the business to be open from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. with outdoor music allowed until 8 p.m., along with limited number of events usually that can end up to 10 p.m. So, yeah. I've been on community. I do encourage you to get involved with your local city, county boards. They're usually volunteer opportunities. I get involved. I can't tell you how many times I ran into people that were like this, that would, and even sometimes I even know I would bring up a concern, which would sound somewhat goofy to everyone else. That's no problem. The problem with this guy is that he just doesn't want to seem to let this go. And this is a current theme, is that unless you do exactly what I say, I'm going to do everything I can to turn everybody against you. See, here's the work that this guy has done. We're nervous because when she originally applied for her permit, it had no mention of outdoor music, said Sue Counter, who lives on the farm next door. Counter also shared concerns about increased traffic on the Skinny Township Road and people using her driveway, where her grandkids often play. Okay, you're in rural Stearns County. How close is your house to her house anyway? Counter also, in February, Persky brought forth a petition signed by 20 neighbors in opposition of the permit, but the county board voted against setting a second public hearing for the residents to share their concerns. He then walked out of the meeting. Yeah, he sounds like a freaking idiot. Since the permit was approved, Persky has continued to bring up the issue at meetings. He says he's been told by county staff the permitting process was done correctly, and it's a moot point. Meanwhile, Fielder Mergen's project is moving forward with crews putting up the building walls next week. Not wanting to get tangled in a public feud, she'd stayed quiet until July when she issued a formal complaint against Persky. Good for you. The county board has yet to act on the complaint. Persky's false statements are fueling misguided anger and resentment from neighbors who have worked and lived peacefully next to for years, the complaint states. The villain here is Persky. He is clearly, and I'm glad she just called him out on this, because that's the problem. He is out there trying his hardest to throw rocks at the beehive. And she had a perfectly good relationship. It's a flower farm, for God's sakes. Persky continues to pursue an outdoor noise ordinance for concert venues if other commissioners agree, citing repeated complaints from neighbors of milk and honey ciders. Why don't some people want to come out here and live like us? But what you have to do is just live in your house and at the end of the day, close your door and make no noise. If you put up one of those flags, one of those new flags, one of those commie flags, we're going to make you take it down. You guys, you need some help. I get it. You're frustrated and angry. About 50 years ago, everyone started graduating high school and they left. Well, not everyone, but most of them left and they never came back. And that hurts your feelings. And so over time, it's built up this resentment and this frustration and this anger. But what this is a guy taking that frustration and anger and falsely directing it at somebody who is clearly trying to make this town a little bit nicer. He compared a class on making a holiday wreath to Wee Fest. That is the epitome of exaggeration beyond exaggeration beyond exaggeration to do that. Well, let me clarify that. Let me say, he's gotten in the neighborhood fixated. It's going to be something that it's not, and over again, he keeps saying it's going to be a Wee Fest. So yeah, he has apparently said it's going to be Wee Fest. Yeah. 952-946-6205. 952-946-6205. You do have, there is indeed, we were talking about this before we got into the break here. Patrick, apparently there is a little bit more of a concern about some of these storms, correct?
Yes, so we have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Hennepin County. That's until 5:30 p.m.
Ah! No, I don't think the National Weather Service appreciates me doing that. No, just be careful. Drive safe. Everyone be safe out there. One last thing here before we get into the break, because I got some music. It's a Friday. It's Casual Friday with Greg talking about CE5 experiments. What are CE5 experiments? Any idea?
I am not the person to ask.
All right, Greg. We'll get to that with Greg. Greg Bakken, Ghostbox Radio tonight, 10 o'clock. CE5 experiments. That does sound like a jazz band from like 1972. It's the CE5 Experiments. So it's Casual Friday. Greg Bach and Ghost Box Radio, 10 o'clock tonight, right here on AM 950. Let's take a break. Come on back. It's music up next on the AM 950.
Hi, I'm Peter Solak.
And I'm Adam Ostrowski.
We are here at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces to talk about outdoor fires. Sitting around a fire is the oldest, most basic form of human activity.
What's new is in the way fire is burned. We can show you how to burn cleaner with a lot less smoke.
The radiant heat and light from an open fire is unmatched. It kindles our spirits and connects us to the outdoors. And now it's easier to experience and enjoy.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces sells and installs wood and gas burning fire pits and fireplaces. Let us help you experience an outdoor fire without all the smoke.
Come see the many ways you can enjoy a fire outdoors.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces has over 35 working wood and gas units on display at the corner of East Franklin and Riverside Avenue in Minneapolis. More information at woodlandstoves.com. Find the fire that works for you. Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces. Out of the ordinary products and services since 1977.
Chanhassen Dinner Theaters brings you its most popular show of all time, Grease. You'll hear all your favorite hits from the Broadway musical and the movie. Join the whole gang at Rydell High. We'll sing, we'll dance, we'll bring you back to high school life in the 50s. Poodle skirts, bobby socks, the soda shop, and drive-in movies. Grease. It'll rock your socks off. Order your tickets today. Visit chanhassendt.com.
End-of-life decisions are not easy to make. Hi, I'm Mary T. of Mary T. Hospice Care. It's important to make sure that this difficult time is meaningful and comforting to you and your loved ones. Our hospice team provides an individualized program of physical, emotional, spiritual, and practical care so your loved one is comfortable and not in pain. At Mary T. Hospice, we understand that choosing the right hospice care provider can be overwhelming, but we're here to assist you. Learn more today at marytinc.com.
Hi, I'm Scott Shambot from Shambot Family Dentistry. We're the fear-free, shame-free dental office. If you're having a dental emergency, we'll try and get you in the same day you call because we don't like to see anyone in pain. And we'll help you get through every appointment in the most pain-free way possible. As my daughter Rachel says,
if you don't see my dad, please see another dentist. Take care of your teeth because they're the only ones you get.
Shambot Family Dentistry in Hopkins and St. Paul. Find them online at shamblotfamilydentistry.com or call 1-800-FIX-MY-TEETH.
Oh, no, I'll say this. I think there are some absolutely fantastic qualities about living in rural America. I really do. I've lived out there multiple times. It's just sometimes the people themselves are I just don't think they realize how unwelcoming they really are. I just don't think they do. Be careful with the severe weather coming on through. Be careful with all that good stuff. Native Roots Radio, I'm Awake. That's coming in next. Life in Sweatpants. This is not a bad little song. We're going to take this out today. Have a good weekend. We are going to be back on a Monday. Till then, see ya.
Good, do you sound?
Hi, this is Frank Brown of Minuteman Press Uptown.